Hello, I'm Jonathan from Shooting Stuff. Thanks for joining us for a video today that's in a little different format. Let us know what you think in the comments below. But today we're looking at the barrel cleaning process on a Victrix Venus in 6.5 Creedmoor. And I really just want to try and illustrate how unclean a barrel remains even when the patches coming out the other side indicate a high level of cleanliness. Starting off with the target that we shot, so about 70 shots through this barrel that was previously pristine. Enjoy the journey as we go through and look at what happens to the barrel using the Lyman Borecam Pro bore camera. It really shows what patches do not. This first run sets the baseline for a nice dirty barrel. The bore cam goes in at the start of the chamber, going through the body of the case. We step up through the shoulder. That bright part at the top of the screen is the start of the shoulder as the angle of the chamber changes. The shoulder and the neck junction, gotten to the top. The shoulder forms the neck, and you can see the remnants coming through. Proceeding through the parallel part of the chamber where the neck lies, and ahead of the cartridge case is a nice black carbon deposit showing the gap between the end of the case, the trimmed case, and the very front of the chamber where the white line at the top of the screen is. Proceeding into the barrel slightly, the forcing cone becomes the start of the rifling. You can see the grooves and the lands as the lands ramp up from the forcing cone. And there's a fair level of goldish, brassish, copperish discoloration, which is the copper fouling. It's not really wetness in the barrel, that's just an optical thing. And here, as we proceed into the rifling by about 3.6 inches, you can see a lot of copper fouling left on the lands. The narrow strip is the land and the wide strip is the groove. Overall, the black is carbon residue from the firing. As the camera moves into the rifling, just short of 8 inches, you can see there's still the copper deposits as well as a different format of the carbon deposits in the barrel. Both of them need to be removed by the cleaning. As we move deeper into the barrel towards 12 inches in, the deposits change. A lot less copper is visible. There's still significant carbon deposits this deep into the barrel. There's always some other funny blemish, and it's sometimes possible to see faults in the material itself. At 15 inches, the barrel appears much cleaner than earlier on as the pressures have lowered dramatically, and even though the velocity of the bullet is higher, the pressures and the temperatures have come down. So the first cleaning run was using Veldt Extermin8r. It's a locally produced product. I ran 5 wet patches through and 1 dry patch at the end. Each of the camera passes try to keep pretty much the same orientation, so we should be looking at more or less the same part of the barrel every time. This is the mouth of the case, and you can see a dramatic reduction in the amount of copper, and the edge of the chamber is a bit more clearly visible. Even with a fairly new barrel, the fire cracking has started. And at the start of the rifling, there's still a fairly significant tinge from the copper deposits. The quality of the barrel is much better still. As you move deeper in, the fire cracking hasn't yet progressed past the forcing cone and the start of the rifling, and the surface here is still quite smooth. Deeper in the barrel, the carbon deposits are still clearly there, and it shows that even though the patches are coming out fairly clean, the barrel is not yet. One can argue that the patches are not yet properly clean and a bit more work is required. First patch on the left and the dry patch at the end of the process on the right. So looking at the before and after, you can see there's definitely a improved level of cleanliness at all of the various sections. So I continued using the same product, and this time added a nylon brush into the process, 20 strokes with a nylon brush, followed by one dry patch, a wet patch to clean everything out, and then another dry patch at the end of the process. So at the mouth of the case, the level of cleanliness has dramatically improved already. At the start of the rifling, there might be a fiber at the top there, that worm-shaped thing, that will come out in the future. And you can see the fire cracking and still a fairly significant copper tinge with the residue that's left behind. Moving deeper into the rifling, you can see that the edges of the lands, the narrow sections, are already becoming clean, but the flat sections on top of the lands and in the grooves remain with a bit of carbon. That's the black. Ideally we don't want that, and as going into 12 inches, everything is a whole lot cleaner. The fouling that was there is much easier to remove because of the lower pressures and temperatures that much further down into the barrel. So the second run after the brushes had the one dry patch on the left, a wet patch in the middle, and another dry patch. So it's showing that the rifle is pretty clean if you just read the patches. The Borecam tells a different story. The before, right at the beginning, the very dirty barrel. Clearly the cleaning process so far has improved the situation, but I think we can do better. The third attempt was also using the Veldt Extermin8r, this time 20 strokes with a phosphor bronze brush, the PB brush, followed by a dry patch, then another wet patch similar to before, and ending off with a dry patch again. The main difference going from a nylon brush to a more aggressive phosphor bronze brush. Getting to the mouth of the case at the end of the chamber, there's still a little bit of carbon deposit. Sometimes the only way of removing that is with a rotary action on a phosphor bronze brush. I didn't do that on this cleaning attempt. Much improved already. Everything is starting to shine a bit, a whole lot more than earlier. One of the big challenges of a clean barrel is the reflection of the Borecam's light. The carbon deposits remain, but a lot shinier and a lot thinner, it would appear. Deeper in the barrel, everything is much happier. Are we there yet? I don't think so. I think there's still more to be done. So after the brushing with a phosphor bronze, the brush came out, or the patch came out very black on the left, a wet patch in the middle, followed by a dry patch that again looks fairly clean, but I think there's more work to be done yet. Before and after, we can see a vast improvement. The next level of improvement is to try replacing the locally produced product with the BoreTech Elimin8r, which is highly regarded worldwide. Again, with 20 strokes of the phosphor bronze brush, a dry patch, this time 3 wet patches because of the copper option, and 1 dry patch to end the process. The mouth of the case, or the end of the chamber, is continually getting cleaner. You can see the marks in the metal a whole lot more. Sometimes these things are difficult to interpret, but this is focusing just on the cleaning improvement each time. The start of the rifling, much less copper fouling visible, but there is still a bit of stuff remaining. Just ahead of that, things are already much improved. The shiny spots on the lands are getting a bit brighter and a bit wider. And deeper into the barrel, it's looking like a much happier place to be. Here the phosphor bronze brush again left a significant residue, wiped out in the first patch. A lot of copper fouling visible with the BoreTech Elimin8r on the next 2. The third patch, also wet, was showing that the barrel was pretty much clean, and I think we've got a nice clean patch at the end. Is it enough? I think there's more to be done yet. The very dirty barrel on the left, and after our 4th operation on the right, a vast improvement, much less copper residue visible, much less fouling as well. Now we've gone to a little bit of an abrasive, the break-free bore paste, mixed in with some Corrosion-X, a highly penetrative oil, one of the recipes that I discovered online, and then again followed up with a dry patch, a wet patch, 3 wet patches just of Corrosion-X, just to make sure we get rid of all of the abrasive, and then a dry patch to end the process. So at the end of the chamber, or the mouth of the case, there are still a few minor carbon deposits left, but it's much improved. And so far all of the scrubbing has been down the bore. I haven't used any rotary action in this area, which is a common technique for cleaning up nicely. So we can ignore that, and the start of the rifling has almost no copper tinge left to it. The ball fire cracking is a lot more visible. What I see here is the carbon deposits are much thinner. The light is reflecting almost off of the bare metal below it. Probably clean enough to go shooting again, but not pristine. "12 inches into the barrel, I think we're pretty much down to bare metal in most places, and this is what I would like the entire barrel to be after a thorough cleaning exercise. I hope this video shows the amount of effort that goes into getting a properly clean barrel, and despite lots of brushing earlier, the black patch on the left shows just how much muck is still coming out. There's little blue in the process going through on the middle patches, so there's not really any copper left. And the patches on the right are really coming out clean at last. The Corrosion-X to clean out the barrel leaves a microscopic layer behind as a lubricant and preservative. The main purpose there was to remove all of the abrasive coming from the break-free bore paste. So if we look at the dirty barrel on the left and the after effect after a thorough cleaning on the right, there's a significant improvement, removing the bulk of the carbon, almost all of the copper. And here's a nice collage showing the benefits of going through all of the steps. My experience shows it's difficult to skip just to the last one and achieve the same result. It is a progressive thing. It does take a lot of scrubbing to get a properly clean barrel. So put in the time and choose the right products in terms of brushes and solvents and abrasives to suit your needs to achieve the results that you want. The best way of monitoring your progress is to use a bore camera, and the one from Lyman is a very affordable option that gives you the insight that you need. So part of the success in shooting tiny groups like this is to have a clean barrel, and that's what this video tried to illustrate. Choosing the right products and the right technique is what you need. It's not a simple process to clean the barrel of a rifle, and put in the hard work. Make sure you get the results that you need at the end of the day. Thank you for joining me. Shooting Stuff is here, giving you more time to shoot.